Folks, welcome back to the Shacknews stage here at Indie Heaven. We got some great games coming up to you. So let's talk to my good friend Chris. Chris, how are you? Are you enjoying your E3 this year?
It is excellent. I'm really enjoying it, and we are excited to be here and talk about Rune.
That is fantastic. So yeah, let's jump right into it. What is Rune for folks that have no idea what your game is?
So Rune is a third-person Viking-based melee combat game set in an open world where you're trying to end the Norse apocalypse. You're trying to end Ragnarok.
Okay, that's a lot of interesting things you just said there. Yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, Rune was a game that came out in 2000, right?
That is correct.
And that was you as well. Yes.
Yeah, it was actually the first game that Human had put out. The first game that my studio put out.
So what is the difference between that Rune and this Rune, and has anything carried over with that?
So this is not a direct sequel. It's more of a spiritual successor to the original. There's a lot of things that carried forward, though. I mean, there's a lot of fan favorites in the game, like eating lizards, for example. You can eat lizards for health. Another fan favorite is the ability to chop off your opponent's arm and pick it up and beat him to death with his own arm. That's still in there.
You're going brutal with this, I see.
It's very brutal. And the combat itself also carried forward. So in the original Rune, the combat was really fast and furious. And it was movement-based, so you're strafing to the left, you do a different attack combo than if you're moving forward, for example.
Okay.
It's really fast, but really tactical. Once you learn it, it's really, really awesome.
Awesome. And I do believe we have a trailer of your game that we're going to toss over. And so, folks, check that out.
The children of the North hear tales of the end of the world. A battle so great, the gods fall, and the 9 realms are consumed by frost and fire. But these tales are false. The gods did not perish. Now they say that mankind must rise and end Ragnarok. You may have survived vast and dangerous lands, crafted the most powerful weapons the realms have ever seen, conquered all manner of ferocious beasts, and proven yourself against the bravest of warriors. But do you think you're ready to take down a god? Ragnarok will never end.
That was an awesome trailer. So going off of that, it seems like you guys have a lot of Norse mythology in your game. So can you talk a little bit about how that influences the game?
There's a lot of influence of the gods in the game. So the overall story is that you're trying to end Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is the end of the world in Norse mythology, right? And so at the end of Norse mythology, one of the gods that dies is Loki.
Right.
And Loki does not want to die. Like
of course.
Most of us don't, of course. So, but he found a way to stop the process and stop Ragnarok from completing. And what you're trying to do is do what the other gods cannot. You're trying to go in, find Loki, and kill him and defeat him.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Cool. So what are some of the gods and maybe even giants that are in the game? Because, with Norse mythology is kind of very in the know right now. So who are you bringing to the table?
So at the beginning of the game, you get to choose which god to align to.
Okay.
You can align to initially Thor, Odin, or Hel.
Okay.
And based upon the god that you choose, it'll affect. It's almost like a character class.
Okay.
So it'll affect initial stats. It'll affect things in the skill tree that you'll unlock. It'll also affect kind of your relationship with that god. So as you're journeying through the world, that god will talk to you.
All right.
Odin will give you advice as to how to try to find Loki and defeat him. Hel will give you, additional powers and abilities as you're playing the game. So ultimately, what you're trying to do is go on a lot of different quests throughout the world in order to reveal the location of Loki to go and kill him finally and end Ragnarok.
Okay, awesome. Now, since we're talking about a game about Vikings, we have to talk about sailing. So can you please inform us, how's the sailing in your game?
So sailing is awesome. Obviously, it's useful as a tool to go from one point to another point. So in our world, in Midgard, the world has been mostly destroyed because of Ragnarok. So most of it's flooded, so there's a lot of different islands to sail around to. So sailing is a really important component to the game. So when you get a ship, and you can get a ship by crafting it, or by stealing one, or finding one in the world, So yeah, if you're playing on a PvP server or with other people, you can go and steal someone else's ship and then try to sail around. And then you can either sail alone, or if you want to form a Viking raiding party, you and 7 of your closest friends, or more, as many as you want to cram into the ship, can jump into that ship, sail to a location, and try to raid it to get cool loot and basically kill everyone at that location.
Okay,
at a fort or a base or that kind of thing.
That's quite exciting. Now, when you're playing the game, you can play with other players and you can form a party. How does that work within your game?
Right.
Can someone go questing with me, or is it only like a raiding thing?
No. You can join with other people. You can go on quests together. It's really cool in that the tech that we have, it dynamically merges quests together.
Okay.
So if you take a quest and you're halfway through it, and I take that same quest, let's say the quest is to go and kill this huge giant. It'll merge it together, and we'll both be going after that same giant in the world.
All right.
So there's kind of there's a form of automatic co-op that happens with that.
All right, interesting. Now, we kind of touched on it a little bit with the dismemberment and beating someone over the head with it, but can you talk a little bit about the combat in your game?
So the combat's very fast, very fluid. As you're attacking, you're not necessarily locked in place with the particular attack that you're doing. In fact, we want you to move around a lot.
Okay.
We want you to learn the different weapons that are in the game. So say if you're strafing to the left, you'll do a different attack combo than if you're moving forward or moving backwards or jumping and attacking.
Okay.
And the weapons we designed, so in the original Rune there were swords, axes, and hammers. In the new Rune we've still got the same 3 type, but we've also added spears, bows, and like throwable grenades essentially.
Okay.
So there's a lot more ranged combat. It's not sniper rifles or anything like that because it's still
ranged.
a Viking game, but some
of course.
ranged combat. And we want people to be able to specialize in those. So if you want to be more of a spear user, you can get spears and you can go out and attack people with that, and they're better for kind of forward attacks and for throwing. Swords are more lateral and ranged kind of thing. Hammers are for beating people down, of course.
Right, of course. Okay, so it seems like there's a lot of customization that characters can have with their combat. Does that go into as well as like armor and appearance of the characters?
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of different armor sets that you can get in the game, and we've got a range of different helmets, different chest pieces, fur for your back, leggings, all that kind of stuff. And one thing I'll mention with the helmets, so we've got some awesome fans.
Okay.
And some of the fans are very serious, and this is true. This is a serious thing. So authentic Vikings did not have horns on their helmets.
Right, that's true.
So,
yes, I know that.
Fantasy, a lot of people think that they had horns on their helmets, but we've got both. So if you
of
want
course.
horns on the helmets, you can get a helmet that has horns or even antlers.
Okay.
But if you don't want that, you want to be more authentic, you can get one that
so
does not
you're
have any
playing
horns.
for both the realist and the fantastical in your game.
That is correct, yeah.
Good. You're appeasing on both sides. That's good. Yeah.
It is much more of a high fantasy game. There's dragons and giants and sea serpents and so forth.
I was going to ask you, because of with the gods, we're obviously going to do a lot of the myth, but will we see elves? Will we be going to different realms in this? Or is it...
initially, it's all in Midgard, so it's all in one realm.
Okay, that's
different realms, that's something that we're looking at for the future.
Okay, all right, cool, awesome. So for folks who want to learn more about your game, where can they go? What should they look up? Can they pre-order it? Can they play it? What's the skinny on that?
So go to our Facebook page, go to our website, look at that, and then we can... RuneRagnarok.com is the website. And where we are right now is you can't buy the game yet.
Okay.
But relatively soon you will be able to. We're in a closed alpha state right now.
Okay.
So we're letting people, a small select group of people in to play the game. They're testing it. They're running around the open world. We're getting a lot of good feedback. And it's a mixture of original Rune fans. It's a mixture of RPG fans and like open world survival game fans.
Right.
So we're getting a lot of really good feedback from people. But we're planning on going into early access later this year.
Okay,
so
awesome.
you'll be able to play it really, really soon.
Fantastic. Chris, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me on the stage. Thank you very much. And folks, once again, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to switch around the games. So stay tuned for more geeky content.